Well, the Atahualpa Stadium holding 40,000, close to that inside. Expecting a fully committed performance from El Tricolor. They have been imperious at home, and they will look to take another scalp against Chile. Three in a row, I should say, that they've won against Chile in World Cup qualifying on home soil. Here is their coach, Reynaldo Rueda, a Colombian in charge of El Tricolor.
Did a magnificent. Well, take a look at this lineup for Ecuador.
Yeah, Rueda making 3 changes from the battling 1-1 draw in Uruguay. Importantly for them, Antonio Valencia is suspended after his sending off in injury time in that draw. So they have to make a few changes around here. Gabriel Equilier comes in at the back 4 because Jairo Campos is injured. And on the right-hand side, 21-year-old Renato Ibarra replaces Valencia. And here for Chile, they've not been able to call on their ever-present goalkeeper and captain Claudio Brava. He had a fractured right arm in training for his club side, Real Sociedad. So, in comes, for them, in goal, Miguel Pinto, another 29-year-old stopper. You can see Arturo Vidal and Fernandez supporting Alexis Sanchez, that trident ray that is so attack-minded for the Roja.
That's beautifully stated. It's a very pointy trident as well. Alexis Sanchez, wonderful company by that number 14 who plays his football in Italy, of course, for Fiorentina. Matti, absolutely wonderful footballista in Arturo Vidal, hitting the operatic high notes for Juventus. A wonderful ex-Bayer Leverkusen man, and as you called them, the trident that needs to be put in a net by this team from Ecuador. Latri under Rueda, as we said, a little bit disappointing in their last performance against Uruguay, and they were winning that game, but Uruguay came back and snatched a good draw. But he'll look for an improved performance, no question about it. The 2 prior performances here in this stadium were pretty good against Bolivia and Colombia, and they really flew their colours high. Really nothing between these 2 teams in a lot of ways. Ecuador always save their best performances for their fanatical crowd that have turned out en masse, of course, complete sellout. And Chile know it, that they are going to be facing the hammers of hell coming at them. But Chile will be going at them exactly the same way the other way. It will be ding-dong, it will be seesaw, and it will be rock and roll.
So we take a look at the huge amount of substitution changes that are available to both coaches. We have Ecuador coached by a Colombian in Rueda, and we have Chile coached by an Argentine in Claudio Borghi. Big responsibility on the shoulders of players and referee alike. So underway, 4 wins out of 4 for Ecuador on home soil. Can they make it 5 today against Chile? It's just 1 point separating the sides. Ecuador picking up their first away point of the campaign in last month's draw at Uruguay. As Ray mentioned, they're looking to start from the off here and put Chile under pressure. Their coach Rueda has called for a performance which leaves their opponents certainly having to ask questions. He's been impressed with the way that even though they've come up against teams and been in evenly battled contexts, they have always found the right time to score the goals which have asked the pressure and problems for their opponents.
We're off to a bright start there. João Rojas there joining in from his wide position, and this team will be really looking to replace something that is irreplaceable. As you stated, Ross, he has been absolutely brilliant for club and country, but sadly the Man United man missing in action here tonight. And Chile got to try to take advantage of that big missing link. They've got the players. Here's one of them.
Alexis Sanchez was held up by Segundo Castillo, central midfield player for Ecuador, and who's most recently of Pachuca in Mexico. In this current squad of 24 players for Ecuador, half of them are domestic based, half of them foreign based, and half of those are based in Mexico. There's Aquile, who commits the foul.
He just clips Alexis there after trying fairly and squarely to beat him, but Alexis always wanted to feel a player and then take advantage of it. Aquile, the Emelec man, coming in and sending an early warning to the Barcelona superstar. Whoa.
Early free kick, and gratefully ending up in the hands of Alexander Dominguez.
A wonderful ball played in for Contreras, and he just fails to meet the train at the station. That ball, just the direction of it was absolutely pinpoint accurate, but a little bit too much pop on it, and it takes a trajectory over big Pablo Contreras. Nice set piece for the Olympiacos man to try to convert, and gets a little touch on that. That may be taking it past Dominguez in between the sticks for Ecuador. Surprising team, it's got to be said. This Ecuador, all of South America starting to wake up to this emerging powerhouse, sitting in a beautiful position, tied with Colombia in the standings right now. It would be phenomenal for them to take a leap to the top of this table with a win. Great tension in this stadium as well. You can anticipate a little bit of nervousness in the yellow shirts at the outset. Beautiful playing service, so there's going to be no problem there. Nice temperatures, not too humid.
Felipe Seymour, the Genoa man, has had a very bright start to the season in Serie A. All cut out. And Carlos Paredes.
Yeah, just reading it nicely. Needed to.
Ecuador certainly have the firepower to trouble Chile here. With twin strike force of Benitez and Caicedo. Scored 5 goals between them out of the 8 that Ecuador have managed so far. Both of them up there today. Benitez has managed goals in each of the 3 home matches he's scored. Here's Matias Fernandez.
As you said, Ross, I mean, this team have been really super at home. Not just gone undefeated, but they've kept 4 clean sheets. So that's what this Chilean side are up against. They're going to take some breaking down, all right.
And as for Chile, they started out away from home, losing 2 matches. Went down badly at Argentina in the opener by 4 goals to 1. Also lost to Uruguay, but recovered since then away from home, and altitude might not be a problem for them, although they have, as I mentioned, struggled to win on this ground in the last 3 visits in World Cup qualifying. But they have played at Bolivia in La Paz, which is considerably higher, and managed to come away with 3 victories in their last 3 visits there. So we shall see if Chile can provide something a little bit different from the previous sides who have been slayed by Ecuador on this ground.
There's a typical example of what this atmosphere can do. This rarefied thin air. Castillo knows it so well. Been breathing it in all his life. Different set of lungs on these Ecuador players. And he takes a pop. Doesn't trouble the keeper at all. But look at the trajectory of it. Swerving and turning like a corkscrew. That ball travels fast. Played in some places of high altitude myself in my past, and it's a different element altogether. Nowhere near as high as La Paz and Quito, but you go to Denver, places like that, and it's still a different thing to adjust to, not just physically, but the actual dynamic of the ball so often. Good play.
And Chile try and get this midfield moving. Jean Beauséjour.
Well, defensively, as you said, Ecuador have been top class, but it's their men up top that's really got to come through. Caicedo and Benitez.
Here's Alexis Sanchez, a Barcelona man.
Well played.
Lovely trickery. Get him away from Paredes.
Good defending.
And came out a long way to meet him there, did Frickson Erazo.
Yep. Covering for each other. Typically wonderful insurance policies around the second man. They don't mind leaving central defensive positions to contain the wide man, but he's in here.
Yeah, Vidal has set the ball in motion here. Mauricio Isla. Juventus man unable to construct anything there. Reinaldo Rueda has just called for more maturity from his players away from home. Certainly at home he feels that they are picking the right moments to get at their opponents. And he's looking for better game management, as they did really to earn that well-deserved point in Uruguay. First point away from home in the qualifying tournament, picked up in their last away game after 2 defeats to open the campaign on the road.
Yeah, against the South American champions, that was a good performance. Uruguay starting to lose the way a little bit. They're still in there with the 12 points, but by their high standards, Uruguay has been a little bit jaded. And the emergence of these teams like Ecuador and Colombia is the team that is really taking my eye. That's a vibrant, wonderful side and absolutely spilling confidence out their ears. That's the team to keep an eye on for everybody.
And Colombia, who failed to reach the World Cup finals in each of the last 3 editions.
Yeah.
Missing out by a hair's breadth to Uruguay in the playoffs. And Ecuador doing similarly in the last run out. Unable to just get past Chile in the final match of the season, actually. The fixture list remains the same for this World Cup qualifying campaign. They will come up against Chile away from home in the final game. There is an opportunity with Brazil hosting a couple of years' time for South America to have their highest number of participants at the World Cup finals since the very first World Cup finals.
We're all the better for it.
There's Ecuador trying to probe a little. There's Felipe Caicedo, maybe a handball call.
Advantage played, but they don't get anything from it. Definitely a handball in my opinion, but the referee seeing that there was an advantage for the yellow shirts and allowed play on. A tough call for the referee to make that in those sorts of situations from that distance as well. 10 minutes in, Ross, and both teams really still finding out and feeling out each other in this midfield area. The ball popping away right there from Martin Fernandez.
A huge cheer going up for Juan Carlos Paredes, coming forward from right back and really just gifting possession away after he did so well.
Yeah, and that's been having it at the other end as well. Chile, their approach play, sweet as anything like this, but then that final pass just not finding the mark. Give them time.
And Ecuador back in the running here.
Good play.
Drive coming in, which breaks. Caicedo.
Magic!
Beautiful work, and then just lifted the ball over. He's calling for a corner.
Wonderful play here. It's not just tricky-dicky from Caicedo, but it's wonderful setup early. But look at this. When it pops to Caicedo, he's got the audacity to pull it back around the defender, Contreras. And that's brilliant football. Wonderful skill from the big man. He settles it, but he's kind of keep it down under the crossbar. He does the hard part brilliantly well. Take a look again. Takes on the defender and cuts inside. It pops. And then there's the wonderful consideration and the delicacy of touch from the big man. Moving like a ballet dancer. Built like a heavyweight boxer, but doesn't have the final sting in his tail. But wonderful play from Caicedo.
Yeah, Caicedo's scored the last 2 goals. 1 in each of their last 2 games. They have both been crucial from the penalty spot. And the last home game here to get the better in the match at altitude against Bolivia. We're certainly used to it. And then to earn the point against Uruguay away from home.
Well played, unlucky again.
It was Christian Benitez.
Yeah.
But the first setup coming from the youngster João Rojas on the left-hand side, doing exceptionally well to feed Caicedo into the penalty area.
Well said, Ross. And Caicedo, one of the few players to make his living elsewhere other than the domestic league in Mexico. Plays his football for Lokomotiv Moscow in the chilly climes of Russia, but man, his feet are nice and warm.
Castillo.
Good ball.
On this right-hand side, Renato Ibarra.
Oh,
driven across the face of goal. Hacked clear in the end.
Beautiful by Ibarra. The ball to find him was absolutely wonderful on the corner of the 18-yard box. Wonderful pass to find him, Russ.
And then cleared away by Mauricio Isla, coming back from that right midfield area. He was the spare man inside the 6-yard box. Here's Rojas again. Like the look of him. Plays his football with Vitesse Arnhem.
Well, here you look. Wonderful play here from Renato Ibarra. Looks at his defender in the eye and says, I'm coming to skin you. And he does it beautifully. Dances around him, pulls a wicked ball back. That's absolutely wonderful football from Vitesse man. Ibarra, 21-year-old. Future's bright for this Ecuador side.
Yeah, coming in place of Valencia, who picked up his second yellow card in that match against Uruguay. Deep in injury time, it was a complete waste. Serving a suspension here. He is in the squad for the next game, which is away from home at Venezuela next week. But although they've picked 24 players here, Ecuador, Chile, it pales in comparison to them. They've picked 29. And overall, over the past 12 months, I think I'm right in saying that there have been 83 players called up.
Wow. Similar to what Diego Maradona was doing with Argentina not too long ago, calling even the fringe players up for a look. But these are the big qualifiers, so these aren't any exhibition friendlies. Diego calling up every Tom, Dick and Harry when he was in charge for Argentina with any type of ability. And as you say, this Chilean side under Borghi doing very similar. One of the great stories of Chilean football and South American football is the story of Claudio Borghi. His counterpart, of course, Rueda looks on, but Borghi, an absolutely brilliant player, tipped to be as good, if not better, than Maradona. It didn't turn out for the Chilean coach, but everybody that you talk to, Ross, and you say, did you see Borghi play? They'll tell you he was absolutely spellbinding. Started out at Argentina Juniors, then Milan saw him, and Milan said, we'll take him. Didn't work out for him, and then do your research and look into it, people. It's a wonderful, sad story, but he bounced around all of the big names and really never made anywhere near the impression he was supposed to.
Ecuador continuing to press here as we reach the 15-minute mark. Round 9 of World Cup qualifiers.
Oh, what a ball. Nearly. Some cheeky play approaching the goal. This Ecuador side do it a very unconventional way, don't they?
It's not quite the same system as Chile, but some similarities to the flank play that Bielsa really put in play, the previous Chile coach. Of course, the side which did so well to get to the World Cup finals in South Africa and progress into the knockout stages. Came through the group containing Spain.
Yeah, and that was all started out when the under-20 team played in the World Cup in Canada. Remember, a lot of the genesis of this resurgence from Chile started back there in Canada.
Here's the header for Benitez! Wonderful save!
Phenomenal header there by Benitez, rising up superbly well. But what an answer from Pinto. Take a look again at this wonderful header. Again, it absolutely flies off his head, and it is beautifully saved. Take a look. It's not an easy header either. At distance, and that's a wonderful attempt at goal. But Pinto sees it beautifully, and Jungle Cat quick on the line, as always. Great header.
Well, the most dangerous weapon in that Ecuador attack, Christian Benitez. Already their top scorer in qualifying with 3, nearly had a 4th.
A good spell this has been for Ecuador. Chile had indicated early that they were coming out of any sort of defensive setup and coming at the home side, but the last 5-7 minutes it has been all Ecuador.
Paredes' volleyed cross. Isla's header. Well, he wins the ball back, but
as I said in the preview, this man will let the big boys play and bait. This referee seeing it was a ball laying out there. Ibarra takes the worst of it. It's a ball to be contested with. I think the referee didn't like the way the cleats were out, as they say it right there. Comes sliding through. He keeps his toe down there. So often you see these players nowadays, Ross, they slide in. And I'm not so sure that a lot of those calls would be made if they were able to keep their foot a little bit narrowed down. But as soon as the cleats are showing, these referees nowadays are pulling out the card or pulling out the big wagging finger, and correctly so. It's a dangerous tackle, studs out.
Luis Saratama is standing over this free kick. He leaves it in the end. And the delivery wasn't quite up to snuff. It was whipped in.
The first 18 minutes just showed this Chile side exactly what a Jekyll and Hyde team they are. Started out so brightly, but they have went into the shadows again. They do it game in, game out. Very inconsistent. Not just from match to match, but within a game. They'll come back into this for sure, but right now the tree is flying.
Well, that looked like a foul. It's been given as well. Challenge on Benitez. And Pablo Contreras has to be careful here.
He relies so much on the America man. Great pace, wonderful physique. You see him. Wonderful Carl Lewis like crackerjack pace out of the traps here. Concentrating. There's a handful to contain for Contreras, but even a big lad like him cannot hold his balance and gets taken down.
Oh, the crowd not really happy with what's going on here.
Well, they're loving the way the referee is laying down the law against Chile. Big personality about him, this ref. Not just his imposing look, but the way his demeanour is. And the yellow card comes out correctly so.
Pablo Contreras has already served 1 suspension for 2 yellow cards. That's his 3rd of the campaign. So this free kick, will it be Renato Ibarra, the young man?
Beautiful space for him to curl around behind that wall if he gets it right.
Oh, he did! Oh, it's off the bar this time! And headed away to safety in the end.
Achillier rises magnificently, punches it. Ah, again, another header, immaculately served on the line. Beautiful ball flighted in by this man. Ibarra, absolute 24-carat ingot delivered. Again.
Oh, and it's headed away again, this time by Seymour. Chile are rocking.
And Chile are reeling as well. Wonderful Benitez again. His headers are finding the target, but not finding it quite well enough. It's in on the frame, but just away. Very, very close. The delivery service has been immaculate, and they continue to press.
Oh, this time Contreras uses his forehead to good effect for the defence. Nabarra is delivering some real quality from the right-hand side.
Oh, magic. Good tackle.
Great crunching tackle coming in. Halting the run of Saritama.
Everybody getting in the act there. Luis Saritama leaving his defensive midfield position, joining in, and this crowd is absolutely willing. Latry on. The yellow shirts absolutely playing top class in their approach. Their set pieces have been superlative, and Chile have got Miguel Pinto to really save them. And big thanks to the goalkeeper.
Well, you can see the reaction from the crowd. The impressions these youngsters are making. Caicedo waiting for it, doesn't quite fall for Ibarra.
Attacking in variations here now. Good aerial attack, and they're also skinning Chile downstairs with a wonderful vibrant play out wide, and it's not just on one flank. Ecuador spreading it out both sides of the field. They're going at them dagger, they're going at them over the top. Wonderful variation from Rueda's men.
Walter Ajovi
knows where the back of the net is himself. He's struck gold during these World Cup qualifiers, so you don't just depend on their forwards. Again, a lovely ball.
Here's Ibarra going down under challenge.
No, not this time, Ross. Nice touch pass, but he knows he's never going to get this. Here's a wonderful header from Achille. Rises magnificently, takes a touch, certainly from Pinto onto the crossbar. Take a look, he gets a fingertip. Wonderful header, beautiful, dynamic, punchy header. Again, knows where the target is, and he nearly finds it.
And some fantastic heading work from Benitez and co.
Yeah, Benitez it was on that replay. The earlier one was Achille. Just tremendous. No way through when you get a goalkeeper like Pinto playing the way he is, inspired. It's usually one of those games where it's going to be a nightmare for you as a forward. Very tough to find any way past this keeper here today. He's been doing it from long distance. Wonderful set players have been denied by the man in between the sticks for Chile. Superlative.
And he's only playing because the first choice is injured.
Good way to step up.
Here's Chile trying to impose themselves a little bit here. Matias Fernandez coming back with some possession.
Yeah, been anonymous. The great Matias is wonderful. Seeing a little bit more of the ball here now than he has in the first 22 minutes, but sets up this opportunity.
Oh, and it's in there! Oh, Paredes! A terrible mistake. It's an own goal from Ecuador, and Chile have survived a tornado from the home side. They now find themselves completely against the run of play, in front at the Atahualpa.
Sad, sad eyes, and his teammates commiserate with him. Paredes absolutely bullets this one in. It's Mati Fernandez who starts it with good considerate play out wide. He's on the ball more, as I said, in this 10-second spell than all he has been in the first 25 minutes, but it's Fernandez who starts it. He links up the play here. He sorts it out, a nice wide ball, and it's fired across, and then we see Paredes standing in front of his own net. Terrible fortune, but a wonderful wide play here from Chile. Isla, after the races, lifts across. He ain't looking for Paredes, he's looking for Alexis Sanchez. Paredes facing the devil in the deep blue sea in front of an empty net. He cannot shift it. He knows he's got to cut it out because the Barcelona man is lurking, waiting behind. Alexis Sanchez waiting like a big vulture on that back post. Poor Paredes. He's got to try to lift it over the top of his bar. Unbelievable turn of events. Chile on the torture rack for the first 25 minutes, in Ecuador with the big cat of nine tails having their way with them. but it is Chile that comes out of the long grass and absolutely draws blood.
Well, it is the first goal that Ecuador have conceded at home in these World Cup qualifiers. It is a big, big blow to confidence. You could see the reaction from Paredes, who couldn't believe what he'd just done. And it's got to be now that they react in a positive manner, because they have had the entirety of this first half so far. And there is the man who has just struck home Chile's opening goal.
A sad face on him, having a good game as well. He was involved with a lot of the early action going the other way for Ecuador. Poor Paredes and all of his teammates straight over to him to try to pick him up. Well, you've got to pick it up a little bit more this time. Another gear to find. A little bit of a reach in here on Ibarra. Renato goes down, gets clipped on the top. Here you go. The set pieces have been absolutely wonderful. The delivery has been exquisite. The finishing touch is all that's required. They've been a baby's breath away 3-4 times, Ecuador. Can they change it up this time? Because Lady Luck has been smiling down on Chile.
Ibarra takes it, and this time it's too long for the descending horde on the outside of that 6-yard area.
This crowd just stunned. The place was levitating until poor Paredes had nowhere to go.
It is the first goal that Chile have scored in this stadium in Quito in World Cup qualifying since 1998, when Marcelo Salas struck in a 1-1 draw. They haven't so much as tasted a point in the last 3 visits, covering 2002, 2006 and 2010 qualifying away in Ecuador. But now they have their noses in front.
And technically, Chile still hasn't scored since that date that you said. Because Ecuador puts it away themselves, but their character now coming back on display. Wonderful game. We've got something that could possibly upset the apple cart. No fairness in this game of ours. We wouldn't have it any other way.
Now it is, if it wasn't already the case, backs to the wall from Chile as they try and work out how to defend this lead that has been so gratefully received. Hacked away by Contreras. Ecuador need the return of that swagger down the wings, involving Rojas on the left and Ibarra on the right.
Well, Chile have got Miguel Pinto to blame as much as anybody for keeping themselves in this game. The goalkeeper for Chile has arguably been man of their match, and so far the rest of their superstars have been very much on the margins of this game. It's the goalkeeper for Chile that, with these absolutely breathtaking saves, that kept his team in it, kept them in this alley fight with a slugger's chance. That's all they had, that's all they have shown, Chile. And so far, they've taken advantage of one sad mistake from Juan Carlos Paredes.
Well, Chile are missing their star striker from the 2010 period of domination in the World Cup qualifiers, where they did so well. So you see a yellow card being issued here for the foul on Isla. It was Felipe Caicedo who came straight through him. But, Chile missing Humberto Suazo, who's top scored in the entire competition of qualifying last time with 10 goals. He's suspended from this game. They're doing okay at the moment in terms of the scoreline. I'm sure that Claudio Borghi, after your comments, Ray, in terms of what an outstanding player he was, will not be happy just to see his side defend for the remaining hour of this contest. The former attacking midfielder is the coach, and he's looking to carry on this attack-minded philosophy embedded by Bielsa. His fellow countryman, the former coach of Chile. Doesn't work for Vidal. Sanchez, who's up there on his own. Interesting position for him to be playing.
I tell you, there may be crueler games that will be invented in our lifetime, but I cannot conceive of a sadder type of situation than what this Ecuador side have faced here in this game. Completely in control, absolutely wonderful in their attack, and then this happens. Mati Fernandez, a simple little ball for Isla, and then look, he actually is close to finding the outside of the post. That's where he's trying to go with the clearance, Russ. And poor Paredes knows that Alexis Sanchez is got his knife and fork out, ready to feast on that chance from Isla. He's positioned well enough, Paredes. His defending position is where he needed to be. He does everything right, but he cannot adjust that right leg of his to take a little glance away from the upright. He gets his angles wrong. He's in here.
Oh, Cruzeiro through on goal. He's round it. And it's the equaliser. Felipe Cruzeiro gets Ecuador back on terms. Parity restored at altitude.
Felipe Caicedo plays his football for a team that he represents in his fashion. A locomotive, absolutely unstoppable. The locomotive Moscow man gets on the rails and he powers ahead and he says, Paredes, I got your back. Wonderful ball here, slipped through to him, but look at the hesitation. Wonderful around the goalkeeper, and then he slingshots it home. It's a bad knockback. It's a poor ball, a giveaway here from Mati Fernandez that sets up the chance for Caicedo. But look at his wonderful awareness, the dexterity from the big man. Wonderful balletic, and he's got better balance than a Greek ballet dancer on a surfboard. Beautiful, and then that arrow home to draw this game deservedly. Even Stevens for Ecuador.
Well, third game running in which he's found the back of the net. The first time in qualifying, though, in this edition from open play. It was as open as could be at the heart of that Chilean defence after he left Pablo Contreras in a heap around Pinto.
Well, it was the ball from Mati Fernandez that took the Chilean defence completely off guard. And Caicedo said, thank you very much to Mati, but what was he thinking? It was a poor slack ball back, wasn't it, from Fernandez? But still, the locomotive Moscow man had a lot to do, and he did it absolutely superbly. You cannot blame Miguel Pinto. He left his lane like a jackrabbit to try to save it.
Caicedo again. Castillo continued his run and came to a conclusion with Arturo Vidal. And that will not go Ecuador's way.
Yeah, and he's got all the awareness, the touch, the speed, the pace, the power. It's all there in that microcosm. And it's an absolute terabyte of skill in a nanosecond from big, beautiful Felipe Caicedo.
24-year-old.
Well, he needs a refill. He'll be getting one at half-time.
Fabulous start to this game, as we thought it might be. There's a massive weekend of fixtures, of course, here. Great evening of South American qualifying, and of course, United States in action too, in CONCACAF qualifying. Check out our full program schedule available on the web at beinsport.tv. Ecuador 1, Chile 1. It's round 9. Curiously, it's the 8th game for each of these sides, though, because the fixture list has remained the same from 4 years ago. It's just that Brazil's games are not included, so all of the teams get a day off on that round. And it's the halfway point after tonight's games are all concluded.
Oh, wonderful coffee house tricks coming out, the confidence being displayed in this crowd, loving this matador football.
Castillo has been absolutely exceptional in central midfield. Ibarra has been fabulous on the wing, as has Rojas. And up front, Caicedo has got the goal. He's been supported ably by Christian Benitez, who is very unfortunate to have not at least one goal. Miguel Pinto has finally been beaten for Chile after they were gifted the lead from Paredes' own goal. Here's Contreras trying to go long, but that seems a little bit pointless.
You know, the thing is, playing those balls over this distance, or that distance, excuse me, and this altitude, your accuracy and your weight of the ball has got to be so perfect. And you see situations like that where players haven't had the familiarity of this atmosphere, that ball just carrying on really quickly through the rarefied air. These teams in yellow don't have a problem.
Oh, and opened up again there for Caicedo. Brilliant block. I think it was Contreras.
I think it was IOV that sent in a fabulous ball over distance, and just as I was saying, the Ecuadorians know exactly how much weight to put on their spatial passes. Fabulous lead up and nearly a wonderful goal number 2 for Ecuador.
Yeah, you're quite right, Ray. It's all about adjusting to the climbs of Quito for Chile. Santiago is at 500 meters above sea level. This is 2850 above sea level. Oh, almost 5 times higher.
Play.
Castillo happy to let it run on. Paredes. Ecuador so at ease at switching from right to left.
Yep. Been an impressive display against a goalkeeper who has been at the apex of his game. He's done everything he could, even for the goal that equalised this match. Certainly Pinto recognised the danger really quickly and came out of his trap like a greyhound to close down Caicedo, but he couldn't get there in time.
Reinaldo Rueda has called for his side to step up their performances. They've certainly stepped up to the plate here.
Lovely touch, unlucky.
Fortunate for Chile this time. They have tried to come out and play against this side. It's difficult to know tactically quite what to do.
Good ball down the side from Walter Iovia leads to this.
Rojas' cross. Fernandez under pressure from Castillo, who was frustrated to give away a cheap free kick.
Wonderful, wonderful refereeing. With a look, he withers.
He's actually on some people's lists for possible representation of Brazil in 2014 at the World Cup finals.
Got my vote. Not a man who either gets in the passing lanes, and I'm noticing this wonderful referee recognising 9 times out of 10 where the players are looking and getting out of the lanes, and right here again does it beautifully. Well played, ref. Players really appreciate that in a referee, and goes unnoticed so many times, but it's an art form. Of course, it helps. You can see that big, beautiful bald head of his.
Ecuador 1, Chile 1. The lead lasting for 8 minutes for Chile.
I'm going to put a proposal into FIFA that all referees should have their heads shaved, Russ. I think that'll work.
We'll see how it goes. Keeper's posted. Certainly this official, Hugo Roberto Lopez, 40 years of age. He's been refereeing professionally since the age of 23 and 10 years in possession of his FIFA badge.
Both teams looking as if they've eased off the gas a little bit ahead of the next 3 minutes. It'll take them into the locker room in front of the boss and around the cups of tea.
There's Fernandez trying to get through. No way past Erazo. Ayovi. Offside flag raised on this near side against Ibarra, who went a fraction too soon.
All the people laughing at me saying that get around the table with a cup of tea. It's not the actual tea that we're familiar with, Russ. It's mate, which is much more potent. Wonderful drink. I always like my mate with a bit of sugar.
Is it good at curing any kind of altitude sickness? Or?
I've never had my mate at high points, but a lovely quenching drink and gives you plenty of oomph. He looks like he's had a few good Sunday's dinners.
Here come Chile.
Nicely.
Fernandez almost past Erazo.
Yeah, wonderful defending, as you said, Russ, just getting in the way.
Caicedo, the goal scorer, nodding down for Benitez, his partner in crime. Ibarra's cross. Contreras is there. Clearance completed easily by Gonzalo Jara. And now Jimbo Sejo, who was responsible for one of those fantastic clearances when the score was 0-0 for Chile inside their own penalty area under aerial bombardment from Ecuador. It's Fernandez. We've seen not much of Bosejour going forward.
No, not at all. Precious little of Mati as well, and similarly for Alexis Sanchez. They've been well kept on a very short leash.
There's an opening for Sanchez. He wins it in the air as well, ahead of Ayovi. And nothing doing for Isla. Castillo sending it long again. Final minute of the half. And both of these managers will be happy to get the players in at this stage. I'm sure they could do with the break. Here's Caicedo.
Nicely.
He doesn't want the half to end.
Oh, goes for the delicate little chip to his teammate inside. João Rojas there, lurking, waiting, and would have taken an absolutely Maradona-type pass to find him. But the half-time whistle goes, Ross. Entertaining match, wonderful in every way. Great drama to open the scoring and a wonderful response from Latry. Ecuador draw at level.
It is perfectly poised. I'll throw it to Terry Lee, who has the express for you at half-time. Ecuador 1, Chile 1.